Hi guys! Today is super exciting because I'm here with Rios. Oz is a commercial, editorial, and street photographer. Welcome, Oz.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm so excited. This is my first video with a creative. Tell me a bit about how you got into photography.
I found a camera, I clicked the button, and voila. No, I grew up doing a lot of art. I did a lot of drawing, and I got accepted to art school, and I didn't go. And then I kind of switched gears and fell into the science stuff. I was like an X-ray tech for a while. One day I have a friend he runs his own business and he needed marketing help. So he used to do videos for sales purposes. So I ended up buying a camera so I could help him out, and I was doing a lot of video. And then one day I just happened to have some free time, and I just started roaming the streets of downtown, and then the knowledge kept on growing, and I decided to eventually go back to school for it, finish up a degree. I didn't want to be just a random person that calls themselves a photographer.
It's a real art form, and I think a lot of people, until they're in an environment where they're having a real photo shoot with the lights, and it's an art form.
Yeah.
So ultimately, you got here by accident.
Yeah, it wasn't planned. It just kind of happened. And I had to make the career switch, and it wasn't easy. It's not easy. I don't think following your dreams and going after what you want is really an easy path.
Take me back to the beginning. Speaking of challenges, like what did you experience at the very beginning of your career? So say after you graduated from art school.
There's the challenge as a creative, really finding out what your style is, what you like to shoot, the technical aspects of it, going out there and understanding the business side of it. You're your own boss. You're making your own money. You're making your own decisions. You're, generating leads, trying to close clients, and that's a whole different world. That's something
Absolutely.
I didn't learn until later on, that you need good business skills, and that's something that I'm still working on. I'm still developing, because I don't really consider myself a businessman.
Yeah.
I consider myself a photographer, but if you want a successful business, you have to understand the business side of it also. Just keeping myself creative, keeping myself motivated. You do kind of hit these walls that you have to overcome, and then your creativity kind of takes a back seat to that. Right? Because then you're not shooting as much, or you're not testing as much, or you're not trying to just play around and have fun, because now you're doing grown-up things like trying to pay your bills, trying to get clients, trying to get money from clients. Having fun, I think, after a certain point in the beginning, that becomes a challenge also.
So kind of thinking back, even though the career happened by accident, which most careers kind of do, in this new age where you kind of build your own career, do you feel as though there was something in your childhood that may have influenced you to become a photographer? There's
one moment that really kind of sticks out that I can still remember to this day. It might have influenced me as an artist. It was like a school field trip when I was in second grade or something like that. My mom got me a disposable camera, right? The little, you wind up in. I remember there was people sitting on a rock, right? And you could see the background, the scenery and everything. And I thought to myself, I should take a picture right now. I still have that picture.
Wow.
It's not a good picture. I took the picture, and I was so nervous afterwards. I was like, oh, they're gonna get mad. I took the picture. Yeah,
that's interesting. Nervous.
Yeah, from that point on, I still get nervous when I take people's pictures.
You think the more that you do something, the more comfortable you get doing it. But like even this right now is kind of terrifying.
Right.
The more that we try new things, learn new things, it doesn't necessarily mean that that feeling ever goes away.
No. If you're consistently putting yourself in a position to grow, it's pretty nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think it's really hard to find that balance between honing your craft and making the money to pay the bills.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's a process, like you said. It's always like moving and changing. So when did you start to kind of get a good grip on maybe the business side of things? Like, how did that develop and help you to progress?
At some point, I kind of understood that I can't figure it out all by myself. You're going to have a small team. You're going to have people around you who have had experience in that. So you can, talk to them, maybe get a mentor, or, just surround yourself with a group of people that have been there, done that, because they're going to make mistakes, and then I'm learning off that mistake, and I don't have to make that mistake,
Yeah.
So that saves me time and money. So I think once that started happening, then I kind of felt comfortable saying, okay, I can do this. I can go about it. Not because I felt like I was proficient enough, but I understood that it's a process and that other people are going through this process and they made it, somehow.
Right.
So
why go through it alone?
Exactly. With, media and technology, it's so easy to link up with other people who are creatives or who are doing something similar to you, who have questions, I don't think today anybody can do it alone.
Kind of what brought us together.
Yeah.
Technology. So break down kind of the day-to-day. Like, what does that actually look like as the creative director of the brand, the marketer, the photographer, the accountant, just the visionary?
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. I wake up, I pay attention to my dog so she doesn't die.
Yeah.
Then I just get to my emails, try to get rid of all that. Then I go over logistics of shoots that I have, people that I'm dealing with. Then from there, if I have a chance, I'll get some errands, some breakfast. I get my equipment ready, check on my equipment ready if I have a shoot later on that day. From there, if not, then I'm making phone calls. Evenings, afternoons is usually when I like to set up my studio shoots. And I'll get home like around midnight and then rinse, wash, repeat the next day.
I also have this thing where it's really hard to just pause and like take care of yourself. And that's something that I've been working on for 2019 so that, I can continue to live and be healthy.
Smoothies.
How difficult in your day-to-day do you think self-care is?
I think it's gotten a lot more difficult to kind of take a step back and take care of me. Photography is taking care of me also, right? I enjoy it. My creative juices, my technical knowledge, but to really just kind of get a moment to myself, it gets a little difficult sometimes, And I imagine it's going to get more difficult. Now I'm reading up on certain billionaires and how they manage their time and how they keep everything organized, and I'm trying to implement that now because my way of organizing and keeping my time is real basic. And I find that if I want to be more efficient, I need to now start learning better time management skills, so I'm implementing these things. And I guess it's always a growing process. Because keeping a calendar was okay. Now I got to keep a certain type of calendar and organize things a certain way. And I got to pencil in, go get a massage.
It does take a toll on your body.
When you first start out, you don't have a crew. It's going to be you and whatever equipment you can afford. And you go out and you rent the rest, and you're carrying it, you're lugging it in your car, you're unloading it, you're setting it up, so
What would you recommend in terms of a strategy for getting the best equipment?
First, I'd say equipment doesn't matter to a certain extent, depending on what they shoot. If you're going to be, shooting food, you need to have a certain setup, certain lighting setup. You can get away with maybe flashes for that. Now they're so cheap, like $80 online. In the beginning, people aren't paying you because you're a top professional. They're paying you because they need a service and you can get that service done. Get it done with the equipment that you have, and you save up, and you buy better equipment as you move along, or you buy used equipment, and then you get better. And then now people are paying you for, your style of shooting, because they need something to get done, your professionalism. Then you start charging more, and you start bringing in, better reliable equipment, stuff. You're gonna be searching for clients. You're trying to get people to come in and pay you as a photographer, and you need to kind of save up your money in the beginning. Yeah, I would say invest obviously in a decent camera and a good lens, depending on what you shoot.
Any new business struggles to get clients at the beginning. So what is your best advice in getting clients?
You have to understand that people aren't just gonna randomly find you. You can't rely on say your social circle to kind of recommend you to do things. You have to have some type of marketing strategy. You have to have your promos, however if you're gonna do email marketing, mail out postcards to businesses. You have to have some way of getting your work visible to people that are out there that you want to work with. A strong business plan also, right? Get your logo done, right? Which is cheap these days too, right? There's tons of people doing graphic design, not just here in the United States, but you can
abroad and outsourcing cheap, yes. is big.
Exactly, all these little things need to be in place, and they're not that hard to do.
It takes money to make money.
Unfortunately, yeah. And it's a slow process. It doesn't happen all at once in the beginning.
So to put this all together, and what is your mantra and just the ideas and thoughts that have kind of kept you going?
A long time ago, I heard this quote in sales, I think it was, is always be closing, right? You always want to be closing the sale. So I like to kind of switch that around and say always be learning. I always try to learn something from what I've done, whether it's a mistake or how I can improve on something. Always be learning and always keep moving, because in my little philosophy, I think those two are key for progress.
So now that you've been in the business for a while, what are the challenges that you're facing now?
Growing and getting paid more.
Yeah.
Significantly more. Definitely really becoming a photographer that kind of specializes in one thing that an agency would come to, or say something like a creative director would just come to specifically for that type of shoot, for that type of look. When I started this process, I didn't realize how many steps and how long this process can take, Like I said, always be learning, always keep moving, and the process kind of unravels itself and you progress no matter what you're doing, as long as you keep on.
You really don't know what you're doing.
It's like you're in water and you're looking around and you don't see land anywhere, but you got to keep swimming.
Thinking okay, I'm going to do this, and that's going to be, securing the job for however long. But even once you have contracts in play, you don't know how long they're going to last for. They could call you up tomorrow and be like, oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and I think it's I guess the downside to being a creative, is that you always have to be hustling.
Always.
You can't take a break.
Are there any, or can you think of any major setbacks that you've had that actually ended up helping you to propel forward?
Nothing major yet. At the end, the client was okay with what came out, but I wasn't. You have to reframe a lot of things, kind of pick out 3 things that I like, that I did well, and then I'll work backwards from there.
What would you say at this point has been some of your favorite jobs that you've done?
I think it's when I finally got to be part of the creative process before the shoot, and look at headshots and what models we were going to bring in. And I thought that's kind of a new process. The casting process isn't something that I really deal with.
So what exciting things are you working towards?
Or maybe something something wild, something
off of a cliff. Someone's,
exactly.
One of those rock climbers, those extreme people, and you're just
somehow
snapping away.
Maybe do a shoot underwater just to see, right? Because I hate the water so much that maybe from a creative perspective, to try to create something and understand how that's done, I think that might kind of push me a little. So I think those two, well, it's kind of one goal. It's kind of something extreme. That's what I want.
Again, just trying to live outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah, definitely. I can't, be doing the same thing forever. It's the
well,
industry.
It has been absolutely wonderful chatting with you.
What?
So how do the people reach you to work with you?
Don't call me. No, you can find me at osrios.com. That's www.osrios.com. You can email me at ozzy@osrios.com. If you're more of an Instagram person, you can see my personal work at THE_DEF, the number 1 ST. That's THE_DEF, the number 1 ST.
Before you call Oz, we are going to go to the Women's March and see how he works. What are you using today?
Old D7000. It's got the kit lens. That way if I drop it, it breaks, or anything happens while I'm out here, I don't have to worry about it.
I noticed that you're using a lot of quick shots.
Yeah, definitely. There's two ways to go about this. One is I'm walking around and scanning for things that I look for, right? Like motion, facial expressions. I put myself in a place where I don't blow out my skies, but I get the shot. Or two, I'll interact with people. I'll actually have a conversation, and then I'll actually go about taking a shot. So either I'll make contact or I'll be really candid about it.
What goes through your head when you're in this?
I'm just enjoying it. I got a checklist in my head that I just kind of go through. But beyond that, just go ahead and shoot, take the shots, and have some fun.
What do you usually do with the photos after?
Immediately after, I back them up. So I have a copy on my SD card, then it goes on my computer, that's the second copy, and then it goes onto an external hard drive. So that's 3 copies. Once I have all 3 secured, then I clean out the SD card back on my camera.
Do you put them out on your website? Is it more of an assignment thing? How does that work?
Well, usually I'll scan through the images, and then I have a separate folder where I put them in. So one folder will be my selections that I pick out. From those selections, then they'll go into Lightroom, and then if I need extra processing, then I'll go from Lightroom to Photoshop. And then the final image, if I like it, then I'll put it up on some kind of social media.